drinking, genetic predisposition, patient having comorbids, obesity, malnutrition, all these factors would contribute in an individual when a person is taking alcohol, whether he or she will move towards liver disease or not. Achha, how is alcohol metabolized? Obviously, it's pathology, so we won't be discussing the biochemical part in detail. Just a brief slide over here. Firstly, is alcohol. By alcohol dehydrogenase, it's converted to acetaldehyde. By aldehyde dehydrogenase, it is converted to acetate. ठीक है, ये आप लोग बायोकेमिस्ट्री में भी पढ़ोगे, बाकी आगे जाके मेडिसिन में भी पढ़ोगे. Alcohol, it gets converted to acetaldehyde by alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. And acid dehaldehyde gets converted into acetate. MUOS is microsomal ethanol oxidizing system, and cytochrome P450 system is the famous one. Okay, just remember this: alcohol gets converted to acetaldehyde by alcohol dehydrogenase. Then aldehyde dehydrogenase converts acetaldehyde into acetate. Oxidative processes located in the liver degrade most of the absorbed ethanol. Obviously, the degradation takes place in the liver. At least 3 hepatic enzyme systems are capable of ethanol oxidation to acetaldehyde. These are the hepatic enzyme systems, okay? That is alcoholic dehydrogenase, microsomal ethanol oxidizing system, peroxidase catalase located in the peroxisomes. 2 to 10% of consumed alcohol is excreted unoxidized through the lungs, urine, and sweat. Okay, the other 80-90% would be oxidized in the liver. 2 to 10% will be excreted unoxidized from the liver, from the urine, from the sweat. Okay. Now, pathophysiology of alcoholic liver disease. Okay, just look at this algorithm. It's an important algorithm. What happens? Alcohol basically increases the intestinal permeability, okay, which leads to obviously and leads to endotoxin production as well. These endotoxins goes to the Kupffer cells and the stellate cells of the liver, and it releases transforming growth factor beta. TGF is transforming growth factor, and tumor necrosis factor as well. That is TNF. The mnemonic TNF is tumor necrosis factor alpha. IL-6. Nobody will ask you the details of these cytokines. Just remember cytokines, okay? There would be increased intestinal permeability. There would be production of endotoxin, which will affect the Kupffer cells, the stellate cells of the liver. Okay? Stellate cells are what? Does anybody know about stellate cells? Okay. Stellate cells are basically parasites which are found in the perisinusoidal space of the liver. Okay, they are parasites basically. Okay, when you have this, then it leads to fibrosis. Okay, then it can also, if it's very severe, if the intake is very high, if the person has genetic predisposition as well, this can even lead to necroinflammation and apoptosis. Okay, that is one mechanism. The other mechanism through which alcohol can cause damage is through oxidative stress. Okay, it can lead to lipid, it will lead to in fact lipid peroxidation. Then immunological damage would occur, and that damage can also occur because of acetaldehyde. So you can see over here basically there are 3 pathophysiological mechanisms through which alcohol will cause necrosis or inflammation or apoptosis or fibrosis of the liver. One is through production of endotoxins. The number 2 is through oxidative stress, and number 3 is basically because of acetaldehyde, which leads to immunological damage as well. So it's a very comprehensive slide to understand the basic pathophysiological mechanism of how alcohol causes alcoholic liver disease, that is necrosis and inflammation of the liver and fibrosis in the liver. Okay, now coming to the clinical and histopathological features of alcoholic liver disease. Now, I have split this into lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates. I'll start off with lipids. Low or moderate ethanol use, that is less than 20 grams per day, is associated with increase in LGL and decreased risk of coronary artery disease. Obviously, it affects the platelet aggregation if taken in a very low amount. But if taken in high amount, that is greater than 80 grams per day, it causes lipid accumulation. Now, what does lipid accumulation cause? Obviously, it will cause fatty liver, very common nowadays. The second topic that we'll study today is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So just remember fatty liver, fatty myocardium, fatty renal tubules. Obviously, then your liver gets affected, your heart gets affected, and your renal tubules get affected. There is alcoholic lipemia may occur. This syndrome is acquired type, that is type 5 hyperlipoproteinemia. This you will study in lipid profiles and when you will discuss hypercholesterolemia, perhaps in your cardiology lectures, characterized by high TG, VLDL, and chylomicrons. All these are lipids basically that will increase. So if you just look at this generalized picture, a person who is taking a high amount of alcohol, his liver will get affected, his heart will get affected, his renal system will get affected, his lipid profile, a very famous test, will get deranged. It will have high TGs, it will have high VLDL, it will have high chylomicrons. And when your lipid profile gets deranged, there are high chances of you going towards angina or myocardial infarction and atherosclerosis throughout your body. Okay. So this is how alcohol affects lipid. Now, the proteins, alcoholic myopathy can occur, osteopathy can occur, intestinal atrophy can occur. Obviously, it will cause protein damage. Accumulation of proteins in the liver will occur, and there will be hepatomegaly, which is seen in 90%, in fact, greater than 90% of alcoholics, you will have hepatomegaly. So myopathies would be there and hepatomegaly would be there, and intestine will also be affected. When we talk about carbohydrate, gluconeogenesis is decreased. You must have heard about this, that very often it occurs in alcoholic individuals, you tend to have hypoglycemias. The basic mechanism, the underlying mechanism is the gluconeogenesis is decreasing. Initially, you will have hyperglycemia because of the cortisol release. Then later on, chronically, you will start having hypoglycemia because the liver is affected. When the liver gets affected, it leads to decrease in gluconeogenesis. Okay. Glutamic acid dehydrogenase activities again diminish. Elevated NADH levels causes increased lactate production. Obviously, lactic acid would increase. Hyperlactic acidemia reduces the capacity of kidneys to excrete uric acid. Therefore, in susceptible individuals, it may have precipitated attacks of gout. So you will have hypoglycemia, you will have gout. So try to memorize this. Okay, let's start from lipids again. You will have fatty liver, you will have fatty myocardium, fatty renal tubules. Obviously, lipid profile would be deranged, which can lead to atherosclerosis in your body. It can lead to myocardial infarction. Then you can have myopathies. You may have, in fact, you will have hepatomegaly, that is greater than 90% of alcoholics. And then because of decreased gluconeogenesis, you can have hypoglycemic episodes, hyperlactic acidemia, which can lead to decreased excretion of uric acid, and eventually it will lead to gout. Okay. Now, the mechanism of organ damage, liver develops the highest incidence and severity of injury. Fetal alcohol syndrome can occur because if the mother is alcoholic, then obviously the placenta gets affected and eventually the child also gets affected. There is hepatic fibrosis and collagen formation, and more closely associated with acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde directly forms adducts with components of cellular membrane. That is not important, the last two bullets for you, but do remember the basic mechanisms of deranged lipids, deranged proteins, the system of proteins, and the damage that occurs to carbohydrate metabolism, all three metabolisms, and how will it affect your body. You have to remember those points. Now, fatty liver, it is the mildest form. Basically, it is the mildest form with minimum inflammation and necrosis. Initially, you go to the doctor. He will palpate your liver, and he will get your LFTs done. Your LFTs would be slightly deranged, and through ultrasound, he may tell you that you have a fatty liver. Overloading of lipids, liver's metabolic function by alcohol brings about fatty infiltration of the liver or steatosis, causing decreased fatty acid metabolism, and consequently, storage of lipids. Okay, basically oxidation हो रही होती है, degradation of lipids affect होती है, free radicals are formed which can cause cell damage and eventually it can lead to fibrosis. ठीक है. Sudden deaths are a small percentage, presumably due to fat emboli, but fatty liver by itself is not very, very lethal, but it's a very good indication that you should now abstain from intake of alcohol. You should stop taking alcohol. You should monitor your diet. You should start regular exercise. So it's kind of an initial stage of liver damage. Now, alcoholic hepatitis, you must have heard about hepatitis, different sort of hepatitis, A, B, C, D, E, all those hepatitis. Now, there is alcoholic hepatitis as well. There is inflammation and necrosis, which is extensive, and fibrosis and iron deposits are prominent features. Okay, so you have four things over here: inflammation, necrosis, fibrosis, and iron deposits. There was a study done which showed basically that it had progressed to cirrhosis in 54.7% of 97 patients in whom histological specimens were taken. So there are chances, almost more than 50% chances, that a person who has alcoholic hepatitis can develop cirrhosis. Okay. In 76.2%, an irregularly outlined homogeneous meshwork of eosin staining material could be seen in the cytoplasm of the liver. You don't need to remember all these details about the morphology. Just remember the Mallory bodies. I'll ask about the Mallory bodies later on in the subsequent slides. Okay. So there would be inflammation, there would be necrosis. It can lead to cirrhosis. That is, alcoholic hepatitis can lead to cirrhosis. There would be Mallory bodies found in the liver on histology. Damage results from degenerating microfilaments, which then acts as immunological irritants and stimulates the fibrosis. So, and at the end, the patient will have fibrosis and cirrhosis if not controlled and not treated or not managed properly. Substantial iron deposits are formed. I told you because of the iron deposit. Histological presentation of hepatitis is the best prognostic indicator of survival. Okay. The diagnostic test, you can say, or the best prognostic indicator is the histology, the biopsy of the liver. That will show at what stage you are right now. Currently, at what stage you are right now. Then obviously you can go for the other laboratory tests, the biochemical test as well, like serum bilirubin or PT. They are they are reliable predictors of severity and survival prognosis of the liver disease. Okay. End stage of chronic alcoholic liver disease is the development of cirrhosis. Obviously, we know that, with extensive liver fibrosis, nodular regeneration, distortion of the architecture, and ultimately all complications of liver disease, liver failure, and death. Obviously, you will have ascites, you will have encephalopathy, you will have bleeding disorders. Albumin is produced in liver, so obviously you will have hypoalbuminemia, vitamins deficiencies would be there, but every sort of lethal thing in your body. It's very, very horrible disease. Liver biopsy specimen will provide you the accurate diagnosis. We'll discuss the laboratory panel at the end. Okay, don't worry. This is another diagram, a very simple diagram. You will understand by yourself. There's a normal liver over here. If there is exposure to alcohol, it will lead to steatosis. If there is abstinence, you can go back to normal liver. Okay. There would be fibrosis and fatty changes initially because of the steatosis, because of the lipid peroxidation which is present. If there is severe exposure, then this steatosis or this fatty liver will change into, just look at the right side of the picture, hepatitis. In hepatitis, there would be, as we studied in the previous slides, there would be liver cell necrosis, inflammation, Mallory bodies, and fatty changes. Now, what are Mallory bodies? Mallory bodies would be discussed quite frequently in this presentation. Mallory bodies are basically inclusions which are found in the cytoplasm of the liver cells. So this is an exam question. Okay, it may come as a diagram, it may be asked in your vivas. Just remember this definition. What are Mallory bodies? Mallory bodies are inclusions found in the cytoplasm of the liver cells. ठीक है, इतना भी कह दोगे काफी हो जाएगा इंशाल्लाह. ठीक है. अच्छा, when there are repeated attacks of hepatitis, then what happens? Or there is continuous exposure of alcohol or repeated attacks of hepatitis, then the patient goes towards cirrhosis, which is fibrosis and hyperplastic nodules, and all the architecture of the liver would be disturbed. We all know that. Okay. The different clinical pathological entities of liver disease. There is fatty liver. We have discussed this. Asymptomatic initially, abnormal liver biochemistries होते हैं, थोड़े से ALT and AST, also known as SGPT and SGOT respectively. That would be affected. Fatty liver leads to alcoholic hepatitis. Obviously, you will have jaundice in this, as you have in most other hepatitis, malnutrition, hepatomegaly. At times, not always, features of portal hypertension. Mainly portal hypertension or encephalopathy, and all these occurs when there is cirrhosis and there is a start of cirrhosis. Stigmata of chronic liver disease, that is all the marks and spots of chronic liver disease would be there, including ascites, varices, esophageal varices, encephalopathy. Then they can lead to hepatocellular carcinoma as well. So just remember the staging. Okay, when you're answering in question in your exam, also just remember the staging. It starts off with fatty liver. The first stage, that would be, it would be fatty liver. Okay, you will go to the doctor. Okay, you will have hepatomegaly on palpation. ठीक है, then he or she will get your LFTs done. Your LFTs will be slightly deranged, an ultrasound done, all the reports would be pointing towards fatty liver. Now that is reversible if you abstain from alcohol, if you control your diet, if you have regular exercise and all those guidelines, if you follow them, it is reversible. But if not, if there is no abstinence from alcohol, you don't stop taking alcohol, you will move towards alcoholic hepatitis. Like all other hepatitis, you will have jaundice, malnutrition, hepatomegaly, may have ascites as well at this stage. When there are recurrent attacks of hepatitis or there is continuous exposure of alcohol, then you go towards cirrhosis. And then you have all those lethal complications of cirrhosis like ascites and esophageal varices. There can be blood in your vomits. Encephalopathy would be there. Eventually, you may have hepatocellular carcinoma. So this is a detailed question, very oftenly, very commonly asked in your exam as well. Okay. Now here you have the mammillary bodies shown over there. They basically inclusions which are in the cytoplasm of the liver cells. Investigations. I told you about the laboratory investigations. Okay. You would have CBC done. That is MCV. Now what happens? The MCV is on the higher side. I mean, it's raised basically. Do you know about any other disease or any other deficiency that can cause MCV to be on the higher side? Anyone? B4. Very good, beta. Minha Murtaza. B12 and folate deficiency. Okay, you will have alcoholism is another disease, obviously, which can lead to increase in MCV. Then you have decreased MCV causes like iron deficiency anemia, thalassemias, and sideroblastic anemia. You must have done that in your hematology lectures. Okay, so you will get a CBC done. Secondly, LFTs कराओगे आप उसका, ठीक है, and then you will have ultrasound. Bright liver usually shown in the ultrasound. It's mentioned in the slide about biopsy, but usually at this stage, at the start, obviously you won't go for an invasive procedure like biopsy. If done, then it will show simple steatosis. Otherwise, CBC, LFTs, ultrasound, patient's history of taking alcohol, इनसे ही आपको पता चल जाएगा the patient has alcoholic liver disease or fatty liver. Okay. Then when the patients develop hepatitis, obviously, then they would be increased in WBCs, neutrophils. ठीक है, LFTs में क्या क्या फाइंडिंग्स मिलेगी? Remember these findings. ठीक है, हो सकता है एग्जाम में पूछें. Bilirubin would be raised, AST, ALT or SGPT, SGOT as you call it, that would be on the higher side. Alkaline phosphatase may increase. Okay? PT would be on the higher side. Albumin would decrease. Some labs include albumin in LFTs. Some labs don't include albumin in LFTs. In our lab, or in our lab, we don't have albumin in the LFT report. We have it separately. Okay, but clinicians do order albumin along with LFTs. Okay, biopsy is same. You would see simple steatosis in these patients. Okay. Alcoholic cirrhosis में कुछ findings, obviously lab findings इतनी आपको help नहीं करती है. You have to go towards biopsy and you will have a typical picture which we have already discussed on the biopsy about alcoholic cirrhosis. So this is a generalized. Somebody asks you about the laboratory panel. Suppose I'm an examiner and I'm asking you, what laboratory panel will you have or will you get it done of a patient who is taking alcohol and his or her liver has started to get affected? You would just answer CBC, LFTs. I will get CBCs and LFTs done, ultrasound, and maybe I will go for biopsy if needed, if I'm not unable to identify the cause. Okay, so it's simple. The laboratory panel of alcoholic liver disease is very simple. Okay, how should we identify an ideal biomarker? This is basically a research slide sort of. I've just put in. मैं आपको एक दो चीजें इसमें से बता दूंगा. जब कोई biomarker आप decide करते हो, suppose in future you are also involved in some sort of research on alcoholic liver disease, that biomarker that you should be using should be easy to measure. Obviously, it should persist for an extended period after abstinence as well, so that आपको हिस्ट्री से पता चल जाए ना, आपकी बॉडी के अंदर वो मौजूद होता हो बायोमार्कर. ये नहीं कि फौरन ही एक्सक्रीट हो जाए, फिर तो नेगेटिव आ जाएगा टेस्ट आपका. ठीक है, डायरेक्ट रिजल्ट ऑफ क्रॉनिक अल्कोहलिक कंजम्पशन not associated with other things, like उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, confounding factors आ जाएंगे, like smoking or drug abuse of nutritional deficiencies. ठीक है. For serial monitoring, baseline concentration should be obtained following a documented prolonged abstinence period. These are basic. It applies not only to alcoholic liver disease. Suppose someone of you, becomes a pathologist in the future. This is how you introduce a particular test in your lab as well. Suppose a patient comes to you with alcoholic liver disease and you're doing a research on it. Then how should you identify a good biomarker? It should have all these characteristics. It should be easy to measure. It should persist in your blood even after abstinence. It should not be affected by other factors like smoking or drug abuse or nutritional deficiencies. And you should use it as a therapeutic monitoring as well. Okay. So for that you need a baseline concentration of that analyte. और फिर आप देखोगे ऊपर जा रहा है या वो नीचे जा रहा है. ठीक है. Management. This is the last slide of the first topic. Then we'll go on to non-alcoholic liver disease. Obviously, the first management, the prime management is abstinence. You have to abstain. You have to stop taking this useless thing. Okay. Then diazepam can be used for withdrawal symptoms. Okay. Diazepam is basically what? It is usually used in anxiety and seizures. Patients लेते हैं आपके alcohol withdrawal में. What it does basically, it calms your brains and nerves. उसको calm down कर देता है आपका. तो withdrawal effects जो है ना आपके अंदर वो कम हो जाते हैं. Then what happens? Along with diazepam, nutrition is important, as malnutrition is very common. Obviously, you need to have good nutrition along with it, because there would be vitamin deficiencies, there would be albumin deficiency, all that will occur. ठीक है. अल्कोहलिक फैटी लिवर में, अल्कोहलिक सिरोसिस में आपका कोई ऐसा चेंज नहीं होता है. यू जस्ट नीड टू स्टॉप टेकिंग अल्कोहल. ओके. डायजेपाम और ये न्यूट्रिशन वाले ये सब आपको उस वक्त फायदा देंगे एट द स्टार्ट, इट्स जनरलाइज फॉर ऑल पेशेंट्स. ठीक है. बट इफ यू अल्लाह ना करे, गॉड फॉरबिड, यू मूव टुवर्ड्स सिरोसिस ऑब्वियसली, then diazepam and nutritional will not work. You have to eventually go for liver transplantation. Now, when we talk about alcoholic hepatitis, severe cases requires hospital admission. ठीक है. आपको जॉन्डिस होगा, आपको सारे सिम्टम्स आ रहे होंगे. न्यूट्रिशन शुड बी मेंटेन्ड बाय enteral feeding. You may have vomiting, severe vomiting, so you are unable to take anything orally. So in that case, you have to go for enteral feeding or IV nutrition, any sort of that thing. Take thiamine should be given IV. Can anybody tell me the disease that is caused by thiamine deficiency? Very commonly occurs due to alcohol intake also. Anyone? No, beta. Anybody else? Wernicke's encephalopathy. ठीक है. Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome or Wernicke's encephalopathy. It is caused by thiamine deficiency. What happens in this? There is acute neurological condition. Basically, it's an acute neurological condition जिसके अंदर क्या क्या होगा? Nystagmus होता है, ataxia होता है, confusion होता है. Thiamine is basically B1 ना. So that is what occurs in thiamine deficiency. So you need to give thiamine. Corticosteroids can improve severe cases. ठीक है. It's helpful in severe cases. Pentoxifylline may be used in severe cases. Steroids are contraindicated, like uncontrolled diabetes है, GI है, sepsis है. Nobody will ask you in your exam about pentoxifylline, but you have to remember thiamine. You have to remember IV or enteral nutrition. You have to remember hospital admission and just the basic measures you take in a jaundice patient. So obviously, you may need antiemetics because vomiting हो रही होगी patient को. ठीक है. ठीक है. सारी चीजें आपको remember करनी पड़ेंगी. What about liver transplantation? Obviously, it is the only treatment for cirrhosis. Cirrhosis, if the liver reaches a tertiary stage, obviously it's not reversible by itself. You have to go towards liver transplantation. Alhamdulillah, it happens in यहाँ पर होता है हमारे पास in Dow. SIUT में भी I guess होता है ये. In many transplant centers, decompensated alcoholic cirrhosis is a common indication of liver transplantation. The second bullet is very important. Period of abstinence of 6 months before considering LT or liver transplantation is usually required. Okay, you need to abstain from alcohol. So the bottom line again is stop alcohol. Okay, alcohol लेना ही नहीं चाहिए. Okay, it's a lethal thing. It's a very, very lethal thing to have it in your drink or diet. Now coming to the second topic. What is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? Any obese individual, any diabetic, maybe not at your age, but at my age or older age, आप ultrasound कराओगे. आजकल this is very common. that you may end up having a fatty liver disease. The doctor will tell you have fatty liver, और उसके बाद you need to control your diabetes. If you are diabetic, you need to have regular walk, और डाइट को बहुत मॉनिटर करना पड़ता है. ऑब्वियसली सारी जो ये हाई लिपिड्स वाली डाइट होती है, यू नीड टू अवॉइड दैट. ठीक है. नाउ रिकग्नाइज इज द मोस्ट कॉमन CLD इन द वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड. बहुत कॉमन हो चुका है. ठीक है. अगेन लाइक अल्कोहलिक लिवर डिजीज, दिस ऑल्सो स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम सिंपल हेपेटिक स्टेटोसिस, जनरली बिनाइन, to NASH. NASH is non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, okay, which can progress to cirrhosis, liver failure, and hepatocellular carcinoma. At times, we are too complacent, too casual about this, but if not controlled, it can lead to cirrhosis. It can lead to liver failure. It can lead to hepatocellular carcinoma. HCC is hepatocellular carcinoma. Okay, so NASH is not that benign. Okay, but at the start, obviously, it's very controllable. Very easily, it can be managed by the patient himself. Now, as I told you, some people say it's the most common, some people say the third most common cause of CLD. बस अब एग्जाम में अगर आपको पूछेगा नहीं कोई, अगर पूछेगा तो you can say one of the most common causes of CLD. ठीक है. अच्छा. NASH was coined by an individual, Ludwig et al. A study basically which was done. You may not be able to see this yellowish part. It's pretty dim. Okay. While describing a series of patients, of non-alcoholic diabetic patients, mostly females, in whom liver histology was consistent with alcoholic liver disease but did not have a history of alcoholic consumption. It's an interesting slide in a way कि आप इसमें exclude करके diagnosis बनाओगे अपने. ठीक है. आपके पास एक patient आ जाता है, suppose with an ultrasound, and it shows fatty liver disease. Now, what do you need to ask in your, basically this slide is telling you about history taking of that individual. First history आप उसकी अल्कोहल की लोगे, डायबिटिक्स की लोगे, मेल फीमेल में दोनों में ही होता है, फीमेल में थोड़ा ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है. इफ देयर इज कंप्लीट हिस्ट्री आपके पास मौजूद है and there is no history of alcohol intake, the patient is diabetic, then this is NASH. Okay. If there is alcoholic history, then obviously you will assume that it is because of alcohol intake. You need to stop patient from taking alcohol. But if there is no alcoholic history, the patient looks slightly obese, and there is a history of diabetes as well, hypertension as well. ठीक है. Irregular और बहुत heavy diet भी लेता है वो, तो obviously that patient has non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. Other risk factors of NAFLD is obesity, as I told you, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, female sex, oral contraceptive hormones भी इसमें आप डाल सकते हो, steroid intake से भी हो सकता है. All these things can cause NAFLD. Does anybody know about metabolic syndrome? It's another cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Any idea about metabolic syndrome? Which things do you monitor in metabolic syndrome? Okay, metabolic syndrome is a syndrome, obviously, as the name indicates. The blood pressure is on the higher side in metabolic syndrome. The HDL is on the lower side. Okay, the triglycerides, that is the good cholesterol, is on the lower side. Okay, the triglycerides are on the higher side. Very good, beta. Hyperglycemia, hyperlipidemia. Obviously, the waist is measured. आपकी obesity होती है, आपका सारा fat होता है waist के around ना, and there is insulin resistance as well. So metabolic syndrome is not a very good condition. Obviously, इसके बाद आपको usually a patient develops diabetes, a patient develops coronary heart disease. It is the underlying cause for many diseases. ठीक है, जितने fatty plaques body में बन सकते हैं आपके because of your lifestyle. ठीक है, that can be caused by metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome can also cause NASH. Okay, obesity, diabetes, hyperlipidemia. Usually आप लोग exam में answer कर देते हो. It's not very difficult. Okay, you don't need to remember the names of all these drugs and everything. As I told you, just remember glucocorticoid से हो जाता है. That is an steroid basically, estrogen or any other OCPs. इतना काफी हो जाएगा. Just say drugs से होता है, metals से होता है, antibiotics, न्यूट्रिशनल ओबेसिटी से होता है. जनरलाइज आपसे क्वेश्चंस होंगे एग्जाम के अंदर. नोबडी विल आस्क यू द लिस्ट ऑफ ड्रग्स दैट कैन कॉज NASH. ओके, आप ग्लूकोकॉर्टिकॉइड्स बोल दो, स्टेरॉइड्स बोल दो, ओरल कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव ड्रग्स बोल दो इसके अंदर. इनबॉर्न एरर्स ऑफ मेटाबॉलिज्म इन चिल्ड्रन, ऑब्वियसली इट्स क्वाइट कॉमन nowadays. The testing of inborn errors of metabolism is also being done in Aga Khan Hospital. So वहाँ पे A beta lipoproteinemia है, galactosemia, glycogen storage disease, Wilson disease. There is a whole list of diseases. So even if you're in your exam, if you just say inborn errors of metabolism, you will get the marks, the required marks. Okay. So you need to remember drugs can cause it. Your overall lifestyle can cause this. Diabetes can cause this. Metabolic syndrome can cause this. Okay. Antibiotics हैं, इनबॉर्न errors of metabolism, सारे कॉज है 6 ऑलमोस्ट इलेबोरेशन, कोई ऐसी खास चीज नहीं है इसमें। एक चीज मैंने आपको बतानी थी, choline deficiency. Remember this: impaired cholesterol esterification, that is choline deficiency. What usually choline does, choline is basically a nutrient in your diet as well, body के अंदर present होता है. It causes decreased cholesterol in your body. Obviously, if it's not present, if it's absent, what happens? The cholesterol levels in your body would increase, and eventually it will lead to deranged lipid profile, and then that can lead to obviously heart disease and other causes of atherosclerosis. Okay. हिस्टोपैथोलॉजिकल फीचर्स आप देखोगे इसके क्वाइट सिमिलर टू अल्कोहलिक लिवर डिजीज होते हैं इसके हिस्टोपैथोलॉजिकल सिम्टम फीचर्स, बस द डिफरेंस विल बी इन द history. Obviously the patient will not have alcohol history, so you will label that patient as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. दूसरा alcoholic fatty liver disease होता है. Biopsy features में more polymorphonuclear cells would be there, hepatocyte ballooning would be there, balloon degeneration भी इसको कहते हैं, ठीक है. Metamitochondria can be there, fibrosis of indistinguishable from alcoholic liver disease. As I told you, जिस level पे आप इनको differentiate करोगे दोनों diseases को, I'm repeating again and again, that would be through history. ठीक है. The patient with alcoholic liver disease will have a history of alcohol intake. Okay. You just remember the main part, that is the balloon degeneration. It is the characteristic find natures. The morphology is very difficult to memorize. You don't need to memorize every part of it, like neutrophils are rahe hain, macrophages are rahe hain, fala cheez ho rahi hai. Just remember the different and unique part, which is the highlight of it, which is the characteristic finding. Okay? Alcoholic liver disease, I told you about the Mallory bodies. Here you have balloon degeneration. What happens in balloon degeneration? It is basically a kind of a, it's a form of apoptosis, you can say. In the exam also you can say this. It is a form of apoptosis in which the cells increase in size to 2 to 3 times. 2 to 3 times, the balloon से पता चल रहा है ना वर्ड से आपको, the cells increases in size to the adjacent cells. Okay. And there is liver parenchymal cell death. As I said, it is a form of apoptosis which occurs in your body. Okay. So balloon degeneration is the characteristic finding in NASH. This is a diagram. You can see the white cells over here, the big white cells. Okay. Eventually they will die. Okay. There are 2 to 3 times, in fact, even more in this diagram compared to the adjacent cells. You can see it's very prominent over here. Okay. Now, fibrosis hota hai, especially in zone 3. What are these zones you have in liver? These zones are not, mandatory or very important to remember. But zones is tarah liver ke andar label karte hain through by metabolic pathways. For example, there is zone 3 and there is zone 1 as well and zone 2 as well. Zone 1 mein you have gluconeogenesis, beta fatty oxidation of the fatty acids, cholesterol synthesis. All these mechanisms are going on in zone 1. Here we are talking about zone 3. Okay. So it affects basically zone 3. Zone 3 में क्या क्या होता है usually? There is glycolysis going on, there's lipogenesis going on, cytochrome P450 system, the famous system involved in drug metabolism and everything, that is also present in zone 3. So that is where the fibrosis and initial collagen deposition occurs, in zone 3. Okay. But natural, if that zone is affected, so all the mechanisms that I just named will be affected, like glycolysis, like lipogenesis, like the drug metabolisms. Okay. There can be chicken wire fibrosis in this. 25% will have severe fibrosis and 14% will have well established cirrhosis. ये स्टेजिंग है इसकी NAFLD की या NASH की. ठीक है. इसके अंदर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऐसा तो नहीं है जो आप लोगों को याद करना पड़ेगा. माइल्ड या ग्रेड 1, मॉडरेट और ग्रेड 2, severe or grade 3. Basically same चीज ही है, उसको आप more से more severe करते रहो. Steatosis would be there, predominantly macrovesicular in grade 1. ठीक है. Polymorphonuclear neutrophils would be there. The steatosis would increase in grade 2. It will become severe or pan-acynar. Pan-acynar means it will be present everywhere in grade 3. So steatosis will be there in every stage, every grade 1, 2 and 3, but the severity will keep on increasing from 1 to 3. ठीक है. बाकी सारे पॉइंट्स में कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो आप हाईलाइट करोगे. सेल्स वुड बी प्रेजेंट देयर, like PMNs, that is neutrophils would be there, and inflammation would be there from mild to severe inflammation. ठीक है. Another grading of steatosis, this is relatively easier to remember. Grade 1 क्या होता है इसके अंदर? Less than 33% of the hepatocytes gets affected. In grade 2, 33 to 66% of hepatocytes gets affected. In grade 3, obviously span assigner inflammation बहुत ज्यादा फैल चुका होता है, ठीक है, 60 more than 66%, 70 भी हो सकता है, 80 भी हो सकता है, of hepatocytes are affected. ठीक है, बाकी फिर एक और स्टेजिंग है इसकी, स्टेज 1, 2, 3, 4. जोन 3 पेरिवेनिकुलर, पेरिसाइनोसोडियल और पेरिसेलुलर फाइब्रोसिस कैन अकर. इट कैन बी फोकल और एक्सटेंसिव. स्टेज 2 में ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर रहता है. स्टेज 3 में देयर इज ब्रिजिंग फाइब्रोसिस, ठीक है, फोकल एंड एक्सटेंसिव फाइब्रोसिस. स्टेज 4 इज सिरोसिस, ठीक है. बहुत ज्यादा कॉमनली नहीं पूछा जाता है आप लोगों से. जस्ट रिमेंबर देयर इज अ पर्टिकुलर स्टेजिंग इन NF-ALD और NASH, ठीक है, इन विच द सिवियरिटी इंक्रीजेस विद कॉमन सेंस विद एवरी ग्रेड, ठीक है. 1 में कम इन्फ्लेमेशन होगी, 2nd में ज्यादा होगी, 3rd में ज्यादा होगी. 1 में कम हेपेटोसाइट्स इफेक्ट होंगे, 2nd grade में it will increase, 3rd grade में it will worsen, ठीक है. And eventually obviously the patient will end up with cirrhosis. Histological differential diagnosis, sitting in a clinic or sitting in an OPD or a ward when you're taking the history, what kind of differential diagnosis can you make? You will have obviously a big list of other causes of cirrhosis and fibrosis, like hepatitis C, like primary biliary cirrhosis, autoimmune hepatitis, okay, and alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. ये सारी चीजें उसके अंदर होगी, ठीक है. Hemochromatosis can also be there. 1/3. Mostly the patients are asymptomatic. Obviously, in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, usually the patients are asymptomatic. If symptoms starts to occur, those are generalized symptoms like weakness, fatigue, malaise. On examination, on palpation, you can have hepatomegaly and splenomegaly. Presence of ascites, spider angiometer indicates development of cirrhosis. It means the patient has had uncontrolled diabetes or obesity or all the factors we studied for the past 10, 15, 20 years. ठीक है, इस वजह से उसको सिरोसिस के सिम्टम्स आना शुरू हो गए हैं. द मेन फीचर इज लेबोरेटरी बायोप्सी. थोड़ा सा मैं आपको उसकी लैब्स का भी बता दूं, देन विल एंड द लेक्चर. इन अल्कोहलिक लिवर डिजीज, नाउ कैन एनीबॉडी टेल मी द लेबोरेटरी panel you will have, the laboratory test you will get it done in alcoholic liver disease? You can hear me, na? A patient comes to you with alcoholic liver disease. He or she has symptoms of, history of alcohol intake. Very good. Minha, you are answering all the questions. Where are other people? LFTs is one test. LFTs would be deranged. Okay, now good. Ultrasound, CBC, very good. Mushtaba and Priyanka. Lipid profile may be your secondary test, not your initial test. ठीक है, if needed, obviously, if needed, ठीक है. Biopsy if needed, ठीक है. अच्छा, एक मैं आपको चीज और बता दूं, ये आप लोगों को कभी काम नहीं आएगा if somebody goes on and become a pathologist in the future. Usually in alcoholic intake, LFTs के अंदर आपको क्या मिलेगा? The gamma GT is usually on the higher side. Okay, gamma GT होता है ना उसके अंदर, that is on the higher side. SGOT obviously is on the higher side, and there's a ratio that is called de Ritus ratio. ये आप लोगों के लेवल पे नहीं पूछा जाता है. उसके अंदर होता क्या है, AST is more than ALT. There is a slight difference in AST and ALT ratio. So in an alcoholic picture in LFTs, you would see AST to be greater than ALT, and you will have gamma GT on the higher side. ठीक है, तो ये इसका लेबोरेटरी पैनल होता है. अच्छा, last point, last question. आप लोग बताओ मुझे बेटा, underlying causes of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. मेटाबॉलिक सिंड्रोम, चलो ठीक है, इसमें काफी कुछ कवर हो जाता है, लिपिड्स वगैरह. वेरी गुड प्रियंका. ओबेसिटी, डायबिटीज, ओबेसिटी, गुड. बिना मेटाबॉलिक सिंड्रोम है, ठीक है. ओवरऑल लाइफस्टाइल इसके अंदर आ जाता है. ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू मॉर्फोलॉजी, टेल मी द मेन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फाइंडिंग इन अल्कोहलिक लिवर डिजीज एंड कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फाइंडिंग इन नॉन अल्कोहलिक लिवर डिजीज. अल्कोहलिक में क्या होगा? मैलरी बॉडीज. वेरी गुड अनुषा. एंड उसके अंदर नॉन अल्कोहलिक में बलूनिंग. वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. ठीक है बेटा, ये मेन क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम में इस टॉपिक पे यूजुअली यही पूछे जाते हैं. ओके, ओके, द लेक्चर इज ओवर नाउ. थैंक यू सो मच.